All right, everybody, welcome back to Gen Booms.
Oop.
There you go, Gen Booms.
I kind of screwed that up. Gen Booms, yes. Hi, welcome back.
I'm Connor,
I am Robert, his dad.
and today we are doing Olivia Rodrigo's second album, Guts.
Very good, very cool. I know we had a bunch of comments after we did Sour, and a lot of people were asking us to do this album.
It was really cool because we just sort of done it like, I like the album, I'd heard it, and it was really popular when it came out, but it has been a couple of years. I didn't think it would be like super big, and then it got pretty well received. Everybody loved it, so like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which is perfect because everybody wants like, oh, you guys should hear Guts, and that's, I was always down. I don't know why I never really did. I think I just didn't get around to it, but I loved the first album, and then I sort of just forgot like this one came out. I never actually listened to the full album, but I was always a big fan of the first one, so I'm excited to hear this one.
No, sounds good. Well, we both liked the first album so much after I finally listened to it and when we were recording it, and so we went ahead and actually bought this the vinyl album of Guts just so we have it. We're gonna be ready
So
for
you
it
guys
because
can
we
see
liked the
it.
first one so much. Figure there's a jump on it. Should be good. We'll have this one for us too. But I really love the first one, and so so many people said that they actually preferred this one in the comments.
Yeah, that's why I was
So,
like, okay, interesting.
yeah, cool.
Yeah, I will say the one, I don't know if I've heard a few of these songs or if I've only heard of the title. We definitely both know Vampire. That was on the radio. That was everywhere.
I remember the name. I remember hearing
think
it.
you'll
I
recognize
can't place it right now, but I do remember
Yeah,
hearing one
for
called
sure.
Vampire on the radio.
And then a few others for me, like All American Bitch, Ballad of a Homeschool Girl. Some of these I feel like I've heard of. I don't know if I know it, like if I know the song or if I've just heard of the song. But
Okay.
yeah, we're going to get into it, see what it is. And the first song on the album is All American Bitch.
All right, let's do it.
I am light as a feather and as stiff as a board. And I'm alright with the movies that make jokes about senseless cruelty, that's for sure. And I am built like a mother in a total machine. I feel for your every little issue, I know just what you mean.
I have heard this one, I'm pretty sure.
Got class and integrity, just like the goddamn Kennedy, I swear, with love to spare. Forgive and I forget. I know my age and I act like it. Got what you can't resist. I'm a perfect all-American bitch. I know my place. I know my place. And this is it. I don't get angry when I'm pissed. I'm the eternal optimist. I scream inside to deal with it like all the time. I'm grateful all the time. I'm sexy and I'm kind. I'm pretty when I cry. All the time. I'm grateful all the time. I'm sexy and I'm kind. I'm pretty when I cry.
That was pretty cool. That was really rocking.
Yeah.
That was way more.
Yeah, very rocking.
More than more than the first album for sure. I would say.
I mean, more than a
there
couple
were
songs.
definitely some songs that were rocking on the first one, but that one was just like right out of the gate. Well, I mean, not right out of the
not
gate
right
because
out
it started off pretty mellow, and
You mean
then
Run the
it-
Gate as in first song.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Then it really
I
kicked
think
in.
the other one actually was also.
It was pretty
Yeah.
fun, I gotta say. I liked it. Some of the little, elements that were in there, like I'm completely
Which one?
blinking on it. Like, it's just that, like, like all the time, all the fucking time.
Oh, like the little,
just the
the
little kind of
ad-libs
thing.
and
So
stuff.
I like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
kind of the there's bits of the the economy that's
Some
in the song
personality
of
in
that's
there.
kind of like mellow and stuff, and there's
Yeah.
like screaming and yelling, and then it's so it's so some stuff that's all kind of nice and sweet, and then some stuff is just more like, oh fuck this, kind of a attitude to it all at the same time. So I thought it was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
I like one part. It somewhat reminds me, the rocking part not as much, but the softer part, it reminded me actually a little bit like Alanis Morissette.
Okay.
Just especially because there's that one line, "Sun in my motherfucking pocket."
Yeah.
The in my pocket song. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I
So
did
that part
yeah.
is sort of similar.
So there were some little bits like that that were kind of funny, or clever. I mean, whatever. That just kind of made me smile.
Yeah, some just funny little witty lines, and the rocking part is definitely really cool. I like that part.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, so we'll keep it going.
Okay.
So I have heard that one, by the way. I have definitely.
I had
that
not
one.
heard that one myself.
Okay.
I don't think I've heard anything other than Vampire, but let's see what we got.
Next we got Bad Idea, right?
Oh, okay.
Haven't heard from you in a couple of months, but I'm out right now and I'm all fucked up. And you're calling my phone, you're all alone, and I'm sensing some undertones. My brain goes, oh, can't hear my thoughts. I cannot hear my thoughts. Like blah, blah, blah. Should probably not. I should probably not. Seeing you tonight. It's a bad idea, right? Seeing you tonight. Fuck it, it's fine. Yes, I know that he's my ex, but can't two people reconnect? I only see him as a friend. Biggest lie I ever said. Oh yes, I know that he's my ex, but can't two people reconnect? I only see him as a friend. His trips and fell into his bed. And I pull up to your place on the second floor, and you're standing smiling at the door. And I'm sure I've seen much hotter men, but I really can't remember when. My brain goes, oh, can't hear my thoughts. I cannot hear my thoughts. Like blah, blah, blah. Should probably not. Seeing you tonight, it's a bad idea, right? Seeing you tonight. Fuck it, it's fine. Yes, I know that he's my ex, but can't two people reconnect? I only see him as a friend. Biggest lie I ever said. Oh yes, I know that he's my ex, but can't two people reconnect? I only see him as a friend. Just tripped and fell into his bed. Can't two people reconnect?
That's cool. Yeah. I like it.
Biggest lie I ever said. I just tripped and fell into his bed. I just tripped and fell into his bed.
That was a fun one. That was
really cool,
rocking.
yeah.
Some really cool, like kind of like get almost like distortion in the end, like the guitars and
Really
that
cool
was
guitar.
really that was cool. I really liked
Really,
it.
really cool. Yeah.
I mean, of course, I came up on like 70s, classic
For
rock
sure,
and stuff,
I mean-
and like that was just rocking. That
That was super rocking. Yeah, I didn't. It took it up a notch from the last one.
Yeah, that was going some good lines and some funny stuff in there, and I told my friends I'm asleep, but I didn't say who's
I was
bad.
yeah,
Like it.
yeah, I'm in your shoes or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I understand that's a kind of a common thing sometimes that you want to
sure.
hook back up with your ex, and and you want to call, and
Yeah,
to-
like the most common
yeah,
thing in the world.
and
Yeah.
it's a bad idea, and but
Exactly.
in that moment, so like like that where they were like
chorus.
seeing you tonight is a bad idea, right? Bad idea, right? Bad idea, right? And then it's like, fuck it,
it's
it's fine. You just talk yourself into it, like,
Yeah,
that's kind of how it goes quite often.
Yeah, some funny lines, but which I'm pretty sure when it first started, I was like, it did sound familiar, so maybe I'd heard it before, but I definitely didn't like remember it because I didn't know any of the guitar and how much more rocking it got. I was like, that was really cool. I didn't really expect it, but
Yeah, no,
Vaguely familiar.
That was very cool. I like the lyrics. It was rocking, and really good, cool guitar stuff in there.
really
at the end,
cool
it was
guitar.
really just going on.
Yeah,
at the
it
end.
was like a Audio Slave guitar
Kind of,
work,
yeah.
like,
You're
sort
right,
of
right,
industrial,
kind of like
sort
that.
of.
So yeah, that was really cool how that really, but it, I mean, really, the music really fit the lyrics and stuff too. We're just kind of like it's kind of going, it was chaotic, you know, and
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah.
how it is when you're feeling like that. You're like, it's
Exactly.
chaos.
That-
And so yeah,
That in the I like the last part goes into that where she's saying thoughts and blah, and it's the way it's said, it sounds the exact same. So it's just like, oh, the thoughts they're stupid, like
yeah,
they're the same thing, blah blah blah.
thoughts, blah. Yeah. Yeah,
So
very
pretty
cool.
cool.
Very,
Nice.
very good, very clever. Her voice is great,
Yeah.
as we noticed from the prior album. So, yeah, she's a great songwriter. That so far, it was very cool.
Mm-hmm. And next we got Vampire, which
Okay,
we obviously know, or at least you don't remember, but
I know. I remember that I have heard it though. So we'll see.
here we go.
Hate to give the satisfaction asking how you're doing now. How's the castle built of people you pretend to care about? Just what you wanted. I see the parties and diamonds. Sometimes when I close my eyes, 6 months of torture you sold to some forbidden paradise. I loved you truly. You gotta laugh at the stupidity, 'cause I've made some real big mistakes, but you make the worst one look fine. I should have known it was strange, but you made me look so naive. The way you sold me for parts, you sunk your teeth into me. Bloodsucker, fame fucker, bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire. How do you lie without flinching? Oh, what a mesmerizing, paralyzing, fucked up little thrill. Can't figure out just how you do it, and God knows I never will. And for me and not her, 'cause girls your age know better. I've made some real big mistakes, but you make the worst one look fine. I used to think I was smart, but you made me look so naive. The way you sold me for parts as you sunk your teeth into me. Bloodsucker, fame fucker, bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire. You can't love anyone, 'cause that would mean you had a heart. I tried to help you out, now I know that I can't, 'cause how you think's the kind of thing I'll never understand. I've made some real big mistakes, but you make the worst one look fine. I used to think I was smart, but you made me look so naive. The way you sold me for parts as you sunk your teeth into me. Bloodsucker, fame fucker, bleeding me dry like a goddamn vampire.
Yeah, it was cool.
No, that was
I mean,
really cool,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was really cool. I, listening to it more, closely, than when I heard it in the car and all that. Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, I don't know. Just
That one, yeah, it's great in a lot of ways. Yeah, I see why that one was a hit for sure.
Yeah, I was wondering, is like, I mean, since the first album seemed like it was about a particular guy, was this one about the same guy or a different guy, or because it seemed like it was a guy who was older, because it said like girls your age would know better, and then it was also, and then pretty clearly like he's a fame fucker, like is some hot guy that just wanted to be with her because she was somewhat famous, or could have also been before the music fame, could have, because she said she was on a Disney
Yeah,
show
she
or
was already
something.
pretty much famous. So
So don't know. I mean, it seemed like it was about something personal that actually did happen with
sure.
her. So it seemed like as a songwriter, she seems to write about those kinds of things. So it doesn't matter who it's about or whatever.
I'm not
It's just
tapped into
that,
her life like that.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know,
So
but
yeah, you didn't really know. So
I
yeah,
presumed it was the same, but
Could be.
The comments let us know.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's just that I mean, she's pretty good at getting her emotions out about about whatever
Yeah.
the situation was, and yeah, don't piss her off, man, because she's gonna write a song.
I know,
about
right?
you.
Like, it reminds me of when Kid Laroi was first coming out, and like everything he made was like about breakup and sad, and it was just like after a couple of years, you're like, you still going through it? I mean, like, damn, this is like, don't break up with this person. They're gonna write 20 hits about you. I mean, damn.
Well, you're writing hits. It doesn't matter, man. This is all good stuff. I was like,
It's funny, yeah. I really like a lot of the things where it's, oh yeah, like the, how do you lie without flinching, and then she'll say it in the background like three
How do you lie?
times.
How do you lie?
And the way like it like
Yeah.
it's almost easy to miss, but it'll like harmonize in the background. It sounds really melodic while the next line goes. There's a lot of elements like that are really cool. In the
yeah, I agree. And that was pretty cool because it seemed like that it was her doing the backup as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Rick worked really well. Yeah, that was, I don't know, just it was a cool.
Yeah, all the different melodies, really nice.
Yeah, and how things would kind of like keep kind of building, they kind of mellow out and then build again.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. I think, yeah, really cool structured song.
yeah, exactly, and a really interesting idea about that you
Yeah, you
bleeding me dry, like
yeah, I hadn't quite really heard it put that way, and I had not like I've heard people say like "believe me dry," but not really. Like for relationships, never really call somebody just straight up a vampire, but totally fits.
I had not heard that either, but I mean the way she says it,
Yeah.
it does make sense. So, and you only come out at night, like there are some people who just only go out to clubs and hang out at night or whatever, like
That
just-
or yeah, if it's like a booty call type thing. Then
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
at night,
So
yeah.
then you go, but otherwise, yeah, like you can't be bothered, like spend the day with me, like it's
Mm-hmm.
just booty calls and stuff at night and stuff. So, yeah,
it's a cool one.
it's a clever idea, very cool.
So we'll move on to Lacey. Here we go. Back to the mellow stuff.
Yeah, these were nice.
Lacy, oh Lacy, skin like puff pastry. Dear angel Lacy, eyes white as daisies. Did I ever tell you that I'm not doing well? Ooh, I care, I care, I care. Like perfume that you wear, I linger all the time. But it takes over my life. I see you everywhere. The sweetest torture one could bear. Smart, sexy, lacy, I'm losing it lately. Aren't you the greatest thing to ever exist? Ooh, I care, I care, I care. Like ribbons in your hair, my stomach's all in knots. You got the one thing that I want. It's like you're made of angel dust. Lacy, oh Lacy, it's like you're out to get me. You poison every little thing that I do. And I despise my jealous eyes and how hard they fell for you. Yeah, I despise my rotten mind and how much it worships you.
Oh, all right, kind of.
Definitely a little bit more of a ballad.
Yeah, not rocking on that one. Yeah, really interesting. I don't know. I wasn't totally sure. Like, is Lacey? It almost seemed like it was somebody that, somebody that she had feelings for, obviously, in some capacity. Because especially at the end, that she's thinking about her and can't get her out of her head. I'm assuming Lacey's a female, but.
That could be either.
I guess it could be either. So yeah, that it doesn't really matter one or the other, but so clearly it would seem like the jealous eyes and how hard they fell for you and all that. Like, so clearly it was somebody she really had something for. Somebody that's kind of beautiful and whatever, seems to have it all. But
Yeah, I was wondering almost at one point, was she talking about herself? But it wouldn't. I don't know. The last one where it sounds definitely more like she'd be talking towards somebody else. I think it's possible that she'd be talking to herself, but
yeah, I mean, I definitely took it as being about somebody else.
agreed.
So, and there were some other good lines. We scroll up a little bit. Let me see. That I thought was kind of cool. I mean, just that, even that I care like ribbons in your hair. Like, it was kind of interesting. But there was, yeah, because you were saying like that part, like, dazzling starlet, Bardot reincarnate. So it seemed like she's talking about somebody, because Brigitte Bardot was a famous actress. A French
Okay,
actress.
I didn't know who that was at all.
So yeah, Brigitte Bardot was famous, a very beautiful, hot sex symbol kind of a actress, French actress back in the day, way back in the day. So dazzling starlet. So it seemed like I mean, that would be an actress, some hot actress. And other stuff like "Aren't you the greatest thing to ever exist" and all that. So
Yeah, because it goes in portions. Like this portion here is talking about how attractive they are.
yeah, but also, I mean, I wasn't sure if it was also. I mean, it seemed like some parts were almost kind of sarcastic, like
For sure.
And the chords, when she would say something, would have like a dissonant chord, like "Aren't you the greatest thing to ever exist?" It was kind of like upset, and it was like a dissonant chord because her voice would change, and the chord would change, and it was really interesting. Just kind of there was definitely some sarcasm in there, and I didn't know, I didn't fully understand, like obviously who it's about or whatever, or exactly the relationship. It was just somebody she really liked, somebody she fantasized about, or was it a relationship? It's hard to really say, but
Yeah, not 100%.
doesn't really matter. But it was a cool song.
Yeah,
Cool vibe to it.
That middle part where there's a lot. She's doing a lot of cool harmonies on the album so far.
Yeah.
That part is really cool. Probably my favorite on there. But yeah, as a whole, I'm not entirely sure. I personally took it, I think, one of two ways. Of either it is she's talking about herself, the way that she's sarcastic, and even on the last couple songs, she's talking negatively about herself and like being like, "Oh, I mess up." But either that, or she's talking about somebody else. But it definitely feels sarcastic. Like the whole song is essentially sarcastic until you reach the last part where she's being more self-honest and being like, I'm jealous. So
Yeah. Don't know.
interesting song though.
Yeah, really interesting, and a nice little vibe to it. So
Yeah.
cool.
And next we have Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl.
Okay, I'm guessing she was homeschooled.
Cat got my tongue, and I don't think I get along with anyone. And I hate all my clothes. Feels like my skin doesn't fit right over my bones. So I guess I should go. The party's done, and I'm no fun. I know. I'm broken glass, I tripped and fell. I told secrets I shouldn't tell. It's social suicide. It's social suicide. Wanna curl up and die. It's social suicide. Swore it was his type. Guess that he was making out with boys at the whole night. Everything I do is tragic. Every guy I like is gay. The morning after I panic. Oh God, what did I say? I broke glass, I tripped and fell. I told secrets I shouldn't tell. I stumbled over all my words. I made it weird, I made it worse. Each time I step aside. Social suicide. Wanna curl up and die. It's social suicide. Yeah, when I'm alone, I'm fine. Don't let me out at night. It's social suicide. It's social suicide. I broke a glass, tripped and fell, told secrets I shouldn't tell. Stumbled over all my words, made it weird, then made it worse. It's social suicide. It's social suicide. Wanna curl up and die. It's social suicide. It's social suicide. Don't
Yeah.
That was really clever. I
That
liked
last
it.
one was really clever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that thought your mom was your wife. Called the wrong name twice. Called you the wrong name. I can't think of a third line.
Yeah, that part's really cool.
Yeah, that's funny lyric. That's pretty cool. And yeah, all through it, that was some great lines in there. Just
Yeah, the gay ones.
that was really funny. It's like I swear I was your type, but turns out he's trying to make out with a guy all
And
night.
then keeps it going. Like every guy I like is gay.
Yeah,
That was pretty funny.
just completely getting it wrong.
And then she never actually says it in the song, but clearly from the title, she feels that being homeschooled made her socially sort of inept.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's what I mean. I assume that was the case, and I maybe she's just thinking back to those days or whatever. Because now, I mean, after Sour, she was quite the star. And all
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
But yeah, I could see that. I'd met people before that had been homeschooled. Not that it's necessarily wrong with it, but it's just that. Yeah, you're not.
Challenges.
You're kind of just home with your siblings, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
if you have siblings, and otherwise, hey, you're not really getting all that social interaction that you normally would at being at high school or what have you.
Yeah.
So I could see because I knew somebody who did say that they felt kind of like this out of place because
Yeah.
they didn't really know how to interact sometimes, which not always is the case, obviously, but I could see that could be the case where you might at least feel that way.
For sure.
Granted, when you're like teenager, you almost always feel like you're
That's what I was gonna say. I
you're
was
out
like,
of place and you feel socially awkward or what have you.
Yeah,
Like it's not
I-
uncommon.
I hate to break it to you, Olivia. Most people, even in high school,
Oh yeah, yeah,
they don't know what to do.
yeah. So, but anyways, it was a fun song, great
It's very
lyrics.
relatable. Yeah, a lot of them, everything so far, very relatable.
Yeah, yeah, and very very fun.
Yeah, although not as much of a ballad
Well, no, that one, yeah, well,
compared to the last one.
yeah, well, because it's called Ballad of a
Yeah, yeah.
Homeschool Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's more just a play on it. But anyway, that's cool.
Next we have Making the Bed.
Okay.
Interesting title.
Want it so I got it, did it so it's done. Another thing I ruined, I used to do for fun. Another piece of plastic I could just throw away. Another day pretending I'm older than I am. Another perfect moment that doesn't feel like mine. Another thing I forced to be a sign. But sometimes I feel like I don't wanna be where I am. Getting drunk at a club with my fair weather friends. Push away all the people who know me the best. Every good thing is turned into something I dread. And I'm playing the victim so well in my head. But it's me who's been making the bed. Me who's been making the bed. Pull the sheets over my head. Every night I wake up from this one recurring dream. I'm driving through the city, the brakes go out on me. I can't stop at the red light, can't swerve off the road. I read somewhere it's 'cause my life feels so out of control. Now tell someone I love them, just as a distraction. They got the things I wanted, it's just not what I imagined. But sometimes I feel like I don't wanna be where I am. Getting drunk at a club with my fair weather friends. Push away all the people who know me the best. And I'm playing the victim so well in my head. But it's me who's been making the bed. Me who's been making the bed. Pull the sheets over my head. Making the bed. Sometimes I feel like I don't wanna be where I am. Counting all of the beautiful things I regret. Me who's been making the bed. Pull the sheets over my head. Making the bed.
That's pretty cool. So,
That was really pretty.
yeah, I really like that. Like just fame isn't necessarily what you what you might think it is and all that. Because like one point she even said that I got everything I wanted, but it didn't turn out how I imagined. Like it's
I actually didn't even catch that, but I was focused on the other part of it. But let me find.
Well, I mean, but also just the whole chorus of it was pretty cool too. Just that, like, well, kind of the saying, like, you made your bed, now lie in it.
Yeah, you did it.
So you got to make your own, so she made the bed, so she made this world, she made it happen. But now she's lying in the bed and it's not.
She has to realize, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's obviously some parts of fame and what have you that she doesn't like, and there are some phony people and what have you, and so going out and getting drunk at a club with my fair weather friends.
That's a great line. I like that one, fair weather friends. I hadn't
Yeah.
really heard that, but that's a good way of
Oh yeah,
describing
fair weather
it.
friends. Yeah, that's an old.
I hadn't heard that one, but that's cool.
because they're around when things are good, when
Yeah,
when the weather's
it's
nice,
not, yeah,
and then otherwise, yeah, they're gone. I'm like, they're bullshit friends. So
exactly,
yeah, and then pushing other people to know me best. So it's you let fame go to your head sometimes, and from what I've heard and stuff, and
I didn't even really interpret it as fame, honestly. I didn't hear much fame.
oh really? So I thought that because like she's pushing away the people who know her best, and she's getting drunk at a club with her fair weather friends. It was kind of like.
Yeah, I could see
Sometimes
that. That happens a lot
you
for
push those people aside because now you're hanging out with the cool kids, like the other famous people or what have you, and just so that's kind of the way I took it as being anyway, and then that she's now like kind of tired of being that girl that or every good thing is turned into something I dread and all that stuff. That's the way I took it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I took it the same. I didn't necessarily think about it. I'm sure I think it definitely probably does happen to famous people more because they have so many yes men. But yeah, I just took it in the more general area of basically, like we had said earlier, making the bed of you're sort of causing a lot of the problems. You're not really listening to your friends, and then they eventually sort of leave you because you're not listening, and now you've got shitty friends, and it's really largely your fault. You just sort of have to realize that. Because I've definitely seen that in my life with a lot of my friends. Definitely had to be the one that was like, well, I tried after years, and it's like, I hope they're doing well, but they didn't listen, and they got to live in the bed that they made.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, it could be anybody any time in your life. I just parts where she said, sometimes I don't like where I am, and that could be physical location, but I also kind of took it as like this level, this place that you've gotten to in your life, and then you're like,
I'm sure it heightens it for sure.
It's not quite what I thought, but at one point I don't remember where it was in there, but she did say, I got everything I wanted, but it's not didn't turn out how I imagined, and that's the kind of part I thought, oh okay, well that's definitely I got the things I wanted, it's just not what I imagined.
Okay, I could see how that would. Yeah, when I heard that line, I think I interpreted it more as like, in the sense more for the average person to relate to, in a sense of like, you thought, like when you trick yourself into thinking like, oh, my friends, they keep telling me that I need to stop this habit or do this, and I don't need to do that, and like I got what I wanted of listening to these newer friends or doing stuff that I thought would make me feel better, and I got that, and I realized like that was complete bullshit.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that too. I just thought with the next lines, like I got what I want, I got the things I wanted, it's just not what I imagined. So sometimes I feel like I don't want to be where I am, getting drunk at a club with my fair weather friends.
Yeah, I could see it being both,
so
for sure.
but yeah, it could be. I mean, it's a beautiful thing about artist and the lyrics
very
and that.
relatable.
They could be many different things or different ways of looking at it. So yeah, very cool.
That might be my favorite so far too. I like that one.
That was a great song. Yeah, I'd hard to pick a favorite to be honest. They've all been really good.
And next we'll get into Logical.
All right, ready?
Master manipulator, God, you're so good at what you do. Hear all the rumors lately that you always denied. And I fell for you like water falls from the February sky. But now the current's stronger, it was all in my mind. 2 + 2 = 5, and I'm the love of your life. 'Cause if rain don't pour and sun don't shine, then changing you is possible. You built a giant castle with walls so high I couldn't see the way it all unraveled, and all the things you did to me. You lied, you lied, you lied. 'Cause if rain don't pour and sun don't shine, then changing you is possible. I guess love is never logical. The sky is green, the grass is red. You mean all those words you said. I'm sure that girl is really your friend. Argument you held over my head brought up the girls you could have instead. Said I was too young, I was too soft. Can't take a joke, can't get you off. Why do we do this? I look so stupid thinking 2 + 2 = 5, and changing you is possible. No, love is never logical. Logical, logical, love is never logical. I know I'm half responsible. I know I could have stopped it all. God, why didn't I stop it all? Oh, logical, logical, love is never logical. I know I'm half responsible. Love is never logical. I know I could have stopped it all. God, why didn't I stop it all?
Yeah, that was a great song.
Another
That was a
really
great
cool one,
lyrics,
yeah.
Great lyrics on that. Wow. Yeah, really, really like that. It's kind of true. Love isn't logical.
It's very true. in both positive and negative ways. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's-
exactly.
That's why it's so great, and that's why it can be so bad.
Exactly, because your heart feels what it feels and wants what it wants, and like you could have everybody telling you that this person's no good or this person's bad for you or whatever it is, and it doesn't matter. It's
Won't matter.
whatever you feel, and then I can also see where she's saying like I know I'm half responsible, and that makes me feel horrible because it's like I knew it wasn't logical. I knew the stuff you were saying was like bullshit, and I still believed it. I still, sometimes you twist yourself in knots to deny reality, and and yeah, then you're like, now I just feel stupid.
And it totally goes in hand with the last song too. Of,
Yeah.
of being partially responsible for the pain that you're in.
Yeah, but some great lines there, like 2 + 2 is 5, and all that stuff, and like
Yeah.
the
I'm the love. of
the
your
rain
life.
doesn't
Yeah.
pour and the sun doesn't shine and all that. And
Yeah.
I thought it was some really great lyrics on that, just all throughout it. That was great.
I know, yeah, she get some examples here when she was talking about, I presume, what perhaps this guy said to her. This is some wild. You would have got. You got breaking up with, and if it was possible, if you say some of these, this is crazy. Brought up the girls you could have instead. I was like, if somebody actually said that, I mean, that's. I think she said that in the beginning, like, wow, the manipulation is high in that. Like, that's a crazy, master manipulator. Like, wow, that's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Some crazy lines there, yeah.
Some great. That was great. All throughout.
Yeah, really nice. She's great at the two. That's what she's great at. Some of these rock songs, some of these ballads. Sometimes mixing them, but really cool.
I think it's very, very clever, and sometimes it gets the whole, a dichotomy of different feelings, and all. It can put it all together, and it comes across in a way that everybody can, relate to it.
Because it feels so genuine.
Yeah, very, very honest and raw. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, and the next one is called "Get Him Back."
Okay.
Let's see how it goes.
1, 2, 3. Wait, is this the song with the drums?
I met a guy in the summer and I left him in the spring. He argued with me about everything. He had an ego and a temper and a wandering eye. He said he's 6'2", and I'm like, dude, nice try. And when he said something wrong, he just fly me to France. So I miss him some nights when I'm feeling depressed. Till I remember every time he made a pass on my friend. Do I love him? Do I hate him? I guess it's up and down. If I had to choose, I would say it right now. 5. Yeah, everyone knew all of the shit that he do. He said I was the only girl, but that just wasn't the truth. And when I told him how he hurt me, he told me I was tripping. But I am my father's daughter, so maybe I could fix him. His car. I wanna make him lunch. I wanna break his heart and be the one to stitch it up. I wanna meet his mom to get him back, just to tell her her son sucks. I wanna key his car. I wanna make him lunch. I wanna break his heart, stitch it right back up. I wanna kiss his face with an uppercut. I wanna meet his mom and tell her her son sucks. Yeah.
Oh man, awesome. Again, some really fun lyrics. Yeah, where do you start?
The last part almost
I
I was
mean-
drunk.
Yeah, exactly. And it definitely it's definitely related to the earlier song of "It's a Bad Idea," right? Like you
True, yeah.
like you just like this isn't good, but and kind of play like I want him, but he pissed me off and I hate him, so like
Yeah, dichotomy.
yeah, that was really
Two different get 'em backs.
Right, exactly. Yeah, two different get him back. I want to get him back. So that was
Very
really cool. It was
realistic.
clever, like yeah, like I want him back, but then it's like I also want revenge. So yeah, they get him back.
Yeah.
It works two different ways.
That
Very
was
clever.
cool. Yeah, I like the chorus, how one line will be one version of the get 'em back, the other one will be the next one. So that's cool that it.
Yeah, then little
be
like the
both.
little ad libs at the back and stuff, or kind
Yeah.
of cool and going in different directions. And there was one line because I remember hearing that her dad is like a therapist or a psychologist or something like that. And there was one point she said, like, when I told him how he maybe told me I was tripping, but I am my father's daughter, so maybe I could fix him.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that must be, she thought she could, that because if the dad does that stuff, fixes people basically.
Yeah, I hadn't quite known that, but that makes sense, and that it makes especially sense for her, but even in general, so many people are definitely like, oh, I could fix them.
Oh yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's a huge red flag. I'm like,
For both people in the
oh yeah,
situation.
I
for
can get the
both of
person
you.
to change. I can fix them. No. That's
And you shouldn't, honestly.
well, yeah, one, yeah, they are, and like people don't change. Like that's time to get out. Anyway, yeah, it was just great lines, really fun, fun song.
it's a cool
I enjoyed it. She's such a good songwriter. She's just very clever and really encapsulates things so well, and such a relatable and fun way. It's very cool.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on to Love is Embarrassing.
Okay. So love's not logical, and it's also
Love's
embarrassing.
Yeah. Maybe because it's dealing with, maybe she got him back.
Well,
She's embarrassed. She's like, damn it.
I mean, yeah, that could be. All right, let's see.
You know what?
What's
Audio.
that?
That's a cool piece.
Told my friends you were the one after I'd known you like a month. When you said space was what you need, waited by my phone like a goddamn fool. And now it don't need to think God loves fucking embarrassing. Just watch as I crucify myself. And I consoled you while you cried over your ex-girlfriend's new guy. My God, how could I be
I followed some of the other
I
songs.
was gonna
and
say
the theme.
so far on the album, she's definitely struggling with the aspect of how she's tied into this essentially.
Yeah, thematically all coming together. That seems to pick the wrong guy quite often.
She's sort of being like, "Damn, it's partially me. Partially, I need to do better here."
Yeah, she said in the I think the last song, right? Like it's like I'm at least half responsible here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you picked this person.
You did.
And you
yeah,
fell for the
if you're
lies and
definitely-
whatever else, you know.
Yeah, you're consoling somebody over their ex's new partner. That's I mean, clearly not over them. So yeah, that would,
Yeah. So that was it's kind of a cool little song.
Yeah.
That was probably the most straightforward one I thought. Almost in the whole album in the sense of just.
I guess that's true. I mean, they're all fairly straightforward.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're not hard to understand. There's not like
Yeah.
hidden meaning necessarily. It was
Yeah.
just like wow, just keep screwing up and like this is love's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
for
It keeps
sure.
like you say like oh, this is the one. And then
After
within a
1
month
month.
he's already like cheating or calling hanging out with some
Yeah.
other girl, the high school girl, and all that kind of stuff. So
Being too much of a romantic.
yeah,
perhaps.
exactly. Like planning her wedding or something
Yeah,
she
yeah.
knows she's never gonna marry, kind of thing. So
It's interesting. Yeah, the last album was very heavily focused on like how bad, I presume one guy, but how bad that person was essentially. And this one's talking about like how bad they were, but also actually mostly focused on her and being like, I need to work on some stuff here for sure.
yeah, there's parts of it she has to own up to,
Yeah.
and whether it's one guy or a few guys, whatever. But yeah, whatever it is, she's self-aware at least.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
So
cool.
we get into The Grudge.
Okay.
If nightmares each week about that Friday in May. One phone call from you and my entire world was changed. I doubt you ever think about the damage that you did, but I hold on to every detail like my life depends on it. My undying love, now I hold it like a grudge. Now I hear your voice every time that I think I'm not enough. And I try to be tough, but I wanna scream. But you know I can't let it go. I've tried for so long. It takes strength to forgive, but I don't feel strong. The arguments that I've won against you in my head, in the shower, in the car, and in the mirror before bed. Yeah, I'm so tough when I'm alone. I try to understand why you would do this all to me. You must be insecure, you must be so unhappy, not knowing my heart. Hurt people, and we both drew blood. But man, those cuts were never equal. And I try to be tough, but I wanna scream. How could anybody do the things you did so easily? And I say I don't care. It takes strength to forgive, but I don't feel strong. That's fine, but you know I can't let it go. I've tried for so long. It takes strength to forgive, but
That was beautiful, actually.
Really pretty song.
Really like
nice.
that, and it's such, really got the whole concept down so well of how you feel when you go through something like that, and that it's takes strength to forgive, but I'm not that strong. Which is like I can't really forgive you at this point, and so much shit that happened, and that is how you feel, right? Like you run it. Like there was parts where she was talking about in her head she's talking to him and like winning these arguments.
Yeah.
And it's like you You do, yeah. I know you always, you go through that stuff if there's a breakup or whatever. And you're trying to, you explain it in your head. Like, when I see this person, I'm going to say this and this and this, and it all makes all this sense. And then it's all like bullshit, and like they're never going to listen to you, or they don't even care.
Or, yeah, or you might not even, if in this case, like if it's a breakup, like you might not even see them again. You're just
Yeah,
like ever again. You're just simply saying it because you sort of it just makes you feel better. You sort
yeah,
of
yeah. So that was exactly the arguments that I have, one against you in my head, in the shower, in the car, in the mirror before bed. Like, yeah. So it's hard not to just think of all those things.
Yeah, it feels like it's sort of coming to a head of where she still has some things where she's saying like parts of it that are still about her, of being like, oh, I I'm not quite strong enough, or I'm not this, and like she still needs to do better. But also this one was 50 that and 50 on this person definitely fucked me over, and it's coming to a head of like which one is more fair.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like this one was way more that
On
this person was a bit, a bit tougher, because I really like that one line there, like, in my heart, like, I know in my heart, hurt people. We both drew blood, but man, those cuts were never equal.
Yeah, that was a great line.
That's such a good line.
That's
That's why it stuck with me. Like, I had to get that one in, because that is a beautiful, such a tough line. Like, I mean, yeah, we both drew blood, but those cuts weren't equal. Like, you were going all out to draw blood, man. That's such a good line.
Yeah, that and then the one before that too, and yeah, just like I fantasize about a time that you're a little fucking sorry.
Yeah.
And I try to understand why you would do this all to me, and it's definitely where you're like, it's almost like you're trying your best to be a good person and understand, but like I gotta, or like rationalize it. You're like, well, they must have loved me. They must have been. There's some reason. They're not just a dick.
Yeah.
You gotta find some reason. Like, I don't know why you're not sad or why you're not sorry. I got to think of a reason.
Yeah, you try. Yeah, so that's true. It's a great line. I fantasize about a time that you're just a little fucking sorry.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
A little bit.
It could be something, man.
Show some emotion. Yeah,
So it's great. I really, really like that song.
yeah,
That's
that's amazing. That's
beautiful song. Love the lyrics.
one of the best so far. I love this.
So good. Yeah.
So we'll move on now to "Pretty Isn't Pretty."
Bought a bunch of makeup, trying to cover up my face. I started to skip lunch, stopped eating cake on birthdays. 'Cause there's always something missing. There's always something in the mirror that I think looks wrong. And pretty isn't pretty enough. What do you do? Everybody's keeping it up. So you think it's you, but you know it's missing. 'Cause pretty isn't pretty enough anyway.
That kind of reminds me, like, we had a conversation recently about like social media and how it, in many
was gonna
ways, is
mention
like is
that,
a net
yeah.
negative in the sense that everybody only posts the best things about themselves, and they go on vacation or whatever it is. Here I'm going to this great restaurant, and they take pictures of it, and so it's always the best. And so, this is becoming a phenomenon now. Where a lot of people feel kind of like crappy because they're like, oh, I don't look as good as that, or I don't feel as good as that, or I don't get to go to these places. So it's kind of what that was like about, like
100%.
trying to keep up, and it's never good enough. Like, because
Never will be.
and so you're always going to be doubting yourself, and pretty isn't pretty enough. Like, so no matter what you do, you're kind of feeling like, I'm not as good as that because everything I see is like perfect and beautiful. It's like, well, yeah, because you're only seeing the very best that person is posting. They're not seeing the
Exactly.
everyday stuff. So, very poignant.
Yeah, I
in that
totally
sense.
agree. That's why I love that line, because a lot of it obviously is her self-confidence, but then that line, everybody's keeping it up, so you think it's you. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's largely, not everybody, but damn near the whole world, especially with social media, is keeping up a facade of just complete BS.
And then it messes people's heads, and then look at this.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it at all. I have, like, Instagram is the only social media I have, and I don't ever post. I never go on it. It's just not. I never understood it. That's why I find it so bizarre, too, especially people my age. I mean, even your age or everybody, but especially people my age. It's just like, because they'll be like this. No offense to her, I'm not calling her out, but they'll be like this where they're so upset or so insecure, and then I'll like talk to them and they know, like, yeah, social media doesn't help, and then they're still like posting what I count as stupid shit. Like they'll be at the Eiffel Tower and they still got to put a filter. Like, this just pisses me off. Like genuinely, like, it's just like, there's a problem and you still like, I just don't get it. Like, why are you looking at how many likes you have? Like, all that. It's just such a problem.
So it's true. I guess if you're like, like I said, Eiffel Tower, you got a place that's as perfect
People
and
do that,
beautiful as
man.
it can be, and you still got to like,
Yeah.
So
It's so absurd.
well, we know people, and then people, in my family and what have you, that I've done certainly do those kinds of things. It's not uncommon. I mean, it's not like anything wrong with it necessarily, in the sense that everybody does it. Like, it's maybe you don't,
I don't.
not everybody, but I mean, it's the majority of the world these days.
It's
it's
incredibly common.
do that, and it's
To yourself and to the pictures. Yeah, it's
So it's so in one sense I can't say anything wrong with it that everybody does it. It's just that it's not great because it's not good for your own
Mental
well-being, your own mental health. Of what if you're just always trying to like look good and look better for everybody else instead of just doing what you like. And so anyway,
It's definitely one of those things, I think, that just on its own, of like the concept of trying to post whatever you think is the coolest or the best, I think that concept on its own is perfectly fine. No problem with that. But if that's all you do and all you care about, that's a massive problem. Just wanting to put like the best photo from a trip, or where you just think like, this is the best one of me, that's perfectly fine. When you have to like retake 10 times because you're not enough, that's a massive problem.
yeah. Well, I mean, teach their own, right? I mean, like,
Not really. I disagree. I think that's just a problem. That's why for me, this song, because like where she's saying here, where like she's so sick, partially of herself, and sick of how everybody makes her feel insecure, and it's like, because I remember I'm fairly confident these days, but I remember when I wasn't, and it's so exhausting to be not confident, like to think there's something better. But it's also exhausting now that I am confident, like having other friends or such. Like, it is exhausting being the other person too. Like, years of being like, you're fine, and doesn't help.
Yeah,
It's a cruel disease in the world for sure.
in many ways. So the song was poignant.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to Teenage Dream. Last one, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When am I gonna stop being wise beyond my years and just start being wise? When am I gonna stop being great for my age and just start being good? When will it stop being cool to be quietly misunderstood? Well, I'll blow out the candles to not be enough? When are all my excuses of learning my lessons gonna start to feel sad? Will I spend all the rest of my years wishing I could go back? I'll blow out the candles, happy birthday to me, but I fear that they already got all the best parts of me. And I'm sorry that I couldn't always be your teenage dream. They all say that it gets better, it gets better the more you grow. They all say that it gets better, it gets better the more you grow. Yeah, they all say that it gets better, it gets better, but what if I don't know? They all say that it gets better, it gets better the more you grow. Yeah, they all say that it gets better, it gets better the more you grow. Yeah, they all say that it gets better, it gets better, but what if I don't?
Interesting ending.
Yeah.
Cool. Like a baby.
Yeah, like maybe child in the background. That was really, yeah, it was cool. I like how it really built. It was building at
Yeah,
the
that was
end.
a
It
cool
just
idea.
boom, boom, and they could, and even earlier, like there's violins and everything. Like it's kind of orchestra going, and then it just kind of gets a little more rocking and building out. That was really cool. Really, again, poignant and touching, and kind of followed the last one in the sense of like the same kind of being insecure and not sure about what you're doing and where things are going, and are you getting better, and is it all going to get better? And
Yeah. And so a lot of lines also on like being self-aware and maybe not quite taking action yet, but being self-aware of things. My favorite line, I think, and it might be when will it stop being cool to be quietly misunderstood? Because it's like everybody, going back to social media, so many things, everybody seems to almost want to be quietly misunderstood, because then they're unique, then they have something that people care about. But it's like everybody in the world knows that and knows that it's not really normal, but they still do it because they want it. They want it. That's why it's cool that she's like, when is it going to stop being cool to do that?
yeah, that was a good line. I agree, and a lot of good lines like that. Like,
Great
what
lines.
am I gonna stop being like wise for my age?
And just wise.
Just wise. So when am I gonna stop being
Great.
a pretty young thing? Yeah, all these things. Is like, when am I gonna just be that and not
Just-
for your
yeah, like,
age or
just
for this or
being
for
me.
that? Or just can I just be me? Like,
Yeah.
So very cool. Was she 19 when she recorded this? Because that comes
I'm
up
not
several
sure.
times.
Maybe
like,
she wrote
that.
it. I don't know.
I'll blow out the candle.
Teenage
Happy birthday to
Dream and
me.
all that.
Got your whole life ahead of you. You're only 19. And
I know she's young
right, and she was like 17 or something when she did Sour.
When
So
she-
I guess it.
when she wrote. I don't know if I think maybe she released it later.
Yeah,
why I was
maybe.
like, maybe she might have been a little bit older when it came out, but I wouldn't doubt that she at least wrote some of these when she was
Yeah,
19.
makes sense. So, well, then she was wise for her age, right? I mean, this was very poignant stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's what they always say, where like, I forgot what it is, but it's like, if you're struggling with it, you're on the right path. Like, if you believe it 100%, where you're like, oh, I'm chilling, like I'm doing fine, you're probably not. But if you're at least struggling, where you're like, I hope I'm a good person.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
probably a good person.
Yeah, and I think that's true. At least if you kind of question things, that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
So I heard that once about like parenting. It's like
Mm-hmm.
because you're never sure if you're doing things right. You're trying to do the best you can, what you think is the best for your kid. And I remember I was just constantly thinking like, am I doing the right thing? And but then somebody said, no, if you're questioning what you're doing, then you're doing it right. Like, at least
Yeah.
you're trying.
You're at least on a
If you're
decent
just like, I'm a great parent, I know it 100%, and I know I got all the answers.
Bad.
Yeah, you probably don't. Like,
You probably don't know what you're doing.
so, so anyway, that was was very good. Good, a great way to end it. Kind of comes back, full circle with the insecurity, but there's a lot more self awareness in that song, and yeah, it was beautiful.
It was really good. It definitely does feel like a successor to Sour. It feels, especially at ending there, it feels like she's getting a little bit older and being like, all right, I've had some stuff happen to me, but also I need to work on myself. I'm in this too, and there's definitely a level of getting past what happened to me and also just being better for me. So a natural evolution of character, I think is great.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. Like that. Yeah, it does flow, picks right up kind of where Sour left off, and is the next era, and yeah, like you said, like what you said in one of the songs where she's I'm at least half responsible, and like, you kind of being aware of that was very, very smart and clever, and the way she presented it was very, very cool. And yeah, another great album.
Great songs. Yeah, solid album. Yeah,
wonderful songwriter. She's just really good. It's just such clever lyrics. I'm very impressed with her. Yeah, I love this album again.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Didn't hear as much about it, like we said before, as compared to the first Sour, but this was
massive,
so solid. Yeah, I know everybody's looking forward to whenever her third album drops.
She's supposed to be sort of dropping this year. I don't know when.
Yeah, but looking forward to hearing it because she's quite the artist. I'm very, very impressed with her.
Yeah, we'll see where her evolution goes there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't quite like the. I was just like, where exactly would I put it, like compared to the last one? But obviously, like, first listen, you got to give yourself some time, because the first album, I just love. I literally have every song added on my playlist. But this one, I was like, it sounds really cool, but I don't even want to try to compare it necessarily to the first until giving myself some time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the first one it had a lot of hits, and that was so good, and then. This, I was thinking, I can't be as good as that one. I mean, granted, that was a huge international hit, like was breaking records, and some stuff. And I don't know how well this one did. I'm sure it did well. But yeah, it's a great successor, though. I think it's kind of a perfect successor to that album for a sophomore album.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Very solid. Like it picks right up where the other one left off in many ways, like we said, and really carries that torch forward. And very, in the same kind of thematic way, and very, very cool. Very cool.
Very cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Hopefully you liked it, and feel free to leave some comments. We always appreciate that, to let us know something we missed or we got wrong, or, whatever, some details. That's always cool. And
yeah, we always appreciate the comments.
Yeah.
And then make sure to like the video if you like. And and if you haven't, I'll put it in the corner again, and we'll put it in probably a playlist. But there's the Sour reaction if you haven't seen that one. Seen that one, and that's about it. I hope you subscribe too.
Yeah,
and we'll see you guys next time. Hopefully she'll drop her album.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Bye.
All right, thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.